Welcome here to BWC Internet Radio. This is the Cory Bender Show. I'm filling in for my buddy Ryan Hartson tonight, and because he had promised to do a bunch of different shows for every day's recap of the NCAA tournament. He did one yesterday, did a very good job on it, and today I'm filling in for him because he had some other stuff to do tonight. And I'm just here to briefly explain what happened today and if there are any upsets going on here in round two, if you want to call it, in the NCAA tournament, which I still technically call it, round one. I'm going to start off today saying that I did not get to watch most of these games. I watched parts of them. I had some stuff to do after school, and of course I was in school the whole day, and I can't watch any of the games, unfortunately. But I'm going to start with Oakland versus Texas, a 13-4 matchup. And Texas, from the gate, looked like they were just going to put a beating on Oakland. And when I was watching a bit before 7th hour, Oakland was getting destroyed. But apparently they climbed their way back in the game and only lost by 4 points. But they weren't able to surpass Texas. They'll be advancing to the next round. My next matchup was was Michigan versus Tennessee, an 8-9 matchup, which is always a great matchup to watch. And right from the gate, Michigan took I believe, a high-scoring lead. They beat Tennessee by 30 points, and Tennessee just threw out from the gate, couldn't get anything going on. Next matchup was Notre Dame versus Akron, and I did not pick Akron for any of the brackets I filled out, and I filled out about 11. If you include my GMFPSP bracket, I filled out about 10 on ESPN.com. Didn't pick Akron at all. I knew Akron was a city because that's where LeBron James was from, but I didn't even know there was a college there, like, at all. So I easily picked Notre Dame. I actually have them in the national championship game, but I'll leave that for another day. This game was 69-56 in favor of Notre Dame, and Ben Hansbrough had 15 points, and that's pretty much about all you can really say for this game. I was not able to watch this game. The next game I watched briefly was George Mason versus Villanova, another 8-9 classic. And this one was just a heavyweight fight to the finish. When I watched this game in the second half, it was Villanova going on one and scoring, George Mason coming back with a counter punch. It was, just nonstop, throwing haymakers all over the place. And George Mason was actually down by, I believe, 4 or 5 points, something like that. And they made a couple threes to end this game with a win at 61-57 as they move on to the next round. The next matchup was Memphis versus Arizona, 12-5 matchup. In this game went down to the wire. Arizona pulled off a win by 2 points at 77-75, and I don't know much about that game. So the next matchup was Duke versus Hampton. And the return of Kyrie Irving was the big highlight of this matchup, considering it was against Hampton, a 16 seed that I didn't even know existed, and they easily handled them 87-45, with Kyrie Irving come in his debut back with 14 points. The next matchup was Florida State versus Texas A&M, a 10-7 matchup, and I did not watch this game either, but apparently Florida State beat Texas A&M by 7. You could consider it an upset if it's just a 10-7 matchup, so I wouldn't really call it an upset. Once you get around like the 6-11, 10-7, and 9-8 matchups, there's never an upset in my mind. The next match was Ohio State versus UT San Antonio, which I didn't even know existed either. And Ohio State just completely dominated them every way, shape, and form in this game with a score of 75-46. The next game was Boston University versus number 1 ranked Kansas, and Kansas from the get-go, I watched part of this game, was just firing on all cylinders. There's no way they're going to be stopped, and they pulled off a win at 72-53, with one of the Morris twins getting 16 points, and I'm guessing the other got 9 rebounds. These box scores on ESPN aren't very detailed at all. The next game was 15th ranked Long Island versus the University of North Carolina, one of my favorite colleges to watch. And North Carolina won 102-87 with this guy Zeller. I can't remember his first name, but Zeller had a good game with 32 points. in this win. And apparently, this game, Long Island scored 42 points in the first half, which is pretty good, and kept in with 45 points in the second. But UNC looked like they held out to a good game. Um, Zeller scored, and apparently Zeller scored 32 points. This guy Henson added 28 points and 6 blocks, and Harrison Barnes got 24 points and 16 rebounds. That's ridiculous. My goodness. No wonder they won this game. That must have been a really great game to watch. I wish I would have had the privilege to watch that. So North Carolina took good care of business as usual, being the number 2 seed. And let's see, the next game was Purdue versus St. Peter's. And Purdue, with Jawan Johnson leading the way with 16 rebounds. That's ridiculous. Etuan Moore contributed with 19 points and became Purdue's all-time leading three-point shooter. And then they easily handled St. Peter's by a score of 65-43. The next game was Marquette versus Xavier, and this game apparently was right from the gate. It looked like Xavier was doing okay, but then once the game started to get going, Marquette was firing on all cylinders. They were hitting everything. This guy, Johnson Odom, got 19 points, and it looked like he just couldn't be stopped. I know 19 points really isn't that much, I guess, for a college basketball player. Maybe it is, because not many of these games are very high scoring because they only play 2 20-minute halves. But this guy, when I watched him play, he just couldn't be stopped. Xavier didn't have any answer for him. He's a huge X factor from what I've heard from all the experts, and that's why they went on to win this game. Next matchup was another 8-9 battle between Illinois versus UNLV, and UNLV beating the A seed, and Illinois being the 9th. And this game, the GMFPSP crew of Tim and Ryan, I believe, picked they picked UNLV, and I picked Illinois. Wasn't really being a homer because I'm not really an Illinois fan, but I just saw that I think they had the size advantage in Mike Tisdale. I saw this McCamey guy's pretty good, and they have another guy, this guy named Davis, who contributed with 22 points, and they won 73-62. And at halftime, they were up by like 25, 24 points, and they were just hitting everything. When I watched, UNLV had no answer for them, and also during the first half, UNLV didn't score for 7 minutes. That's how either good the Illinois defense was or how crappy the UNLV offense was. I mean, 7 minutes without going with 1 point in the first half. That's ridiculous. You don't deserve to win a tournament game or even be in a tournament game if you're going to do that. Either Illinois was just on a mission on defense or something happened with UNLV, but apparently they scraped their way back to only 11-point deficit, but wasn't enough. And that's why Illinois is going into the next round. Some of these games are going on right now. It's about 10:27 while I'm talking right now. I'd wait a little bit, but just kind of want to get this done and over with. At halftime right now is number 3 Syracuse versus Indiana State, which is ranked 14th, and they're only up by 8 points. A little update on Georgia versus Washington. With about 15 minutes left in the second half, it is Washington up by 5 points with a score of 37-32. And then this other game is Virginia Commonwealth beating Georgetown 49-34. Now I had Virginia Commonwealth winning the play-in game versus USC because I really saw they could be a dark horse team. They looked like, I believe they were in the tournament last year, and I've heard wonders from them on TV. And I did not have them beating Georgetown, even though Georgetown doesn't look as good as they usually are. But right now, when I actually watched some of this game, Virginia Commonwealth and Georgetown were, they're being just landing haymakers and whatnot. And apparently Virginia Commonwealth is getting the edge right now. There's still plenty of time left in that game. But those are all the games going on in round 2, if you want to call it, here in this great NCAA tournament. And quickly, just a little update on my bracket here for GMFPSB. It looks like I will not be eating liver as of this moment, as Ohio State secure their victory. If Georgetown loses, that'll be a little bad, but I don't have them going far in the tournament. I have them losing to Ohio State actually in this next round, but Virginia Commonwealth is playing very good right now, so I doubt this will happen. Syracuse looks like they're taking care of business right now, but you never know when United State could pull off an upset. I mean, we had Morehead State beat Louisville. I mean, that's ridiculous. I watched the end of that game, and I was so pissed off when Morehead State won that game, because I had a feeling, because I didn't know how far Louisville was in my bracket, and then I looked, and I didn't have them very far. I had them losing in the next round versus Kansas, so thankfully I've been saved so far. And I was actually going to pick Richmond over, who did they play? Yesterday they play Vanderbilt. I was thinking about going with Richmond, but I of course didn't, being me. So far my bracket's pretty good right now. Most of my teams have made it in to the next round. Oakland did not make it. Penn State got bounced. Oakland got bounced. Cincinnati won. And otherwise, the rest, Old Dominion I picked in this bracket, and they lost. But otherwise, most of my teams have been pretty good. But one bad decision I made was having St. John's in the Elite Eight. That's not going to help my chances during this bracket, but thank God Michigan lost in the first round because Tim picked them to go in the Final Four. So hopefully that'll give me some chance at not eating liver. So yeah, that's the big story today. Just this day 2 recap of round 2, which I still call round 1. And we'll be having a JMFPSB hopefully tomorrow at Ryan's house. Just recapping all of round 2, what our thoughts were, look at where our brackets stand right now. And just, doing our thing and picking the next games, I believe. I'm not sure yet. I'll get the details when I see Ryan tomorrow if we can go. Our schedules are so crazy. Tim has track all the time. Ryan has a bunch of stuff going on. I might have basketball. Actually, wait, no, I don't have basketball, but I might have something come up. I'm not sure. But I'm probably going to be on JMFPSB tomorrow, and I hope you enjoyed this broadcast here on the Cory Bender Show here on BWC Internet Radio, and thanks for listening.